The outdoor track and field season is well underway, which means we should have a pretty good idea of which athletes will be competing for an NCAA title come June. Jamezia Ford is still a freshman, and still the fastest women's sprinter in college right now, because she is the national leader outdoors in the 200 and the 400, after running away with the NCAA indoor title in the 200. Literally. Yet she's just one of several ladies to prove their dominance on the track right now, because Maya Ramsden of Harvard is now the reigning NCAA champion, indoors in the mile, and outdoors in the 1500. That means she has a pretty good shot at completing a three-peat by the end of the outdoor season, and she's arguably the best women's distance runner in the entire NCAA. Of course, if you don't count Parker Valby, and for the record, she was ranked right behind her in the 3K heading into the NCAA indoor meet. But don't get it twisted. The ladies of Harvard are one of the best kept secrets in all of Division I. They are, pound for pound, one of the 10 best teams in all of college track and field, and I've got the receipts to prove it. And that means, no matter who you are or what conference you're coming from, you don't want to see them in a dual meet. They even have their own superstar freshman in Sophia Gorriaran running the 800. She competed at the Olympic trials while she was still an underclassman in high school. So even though all those smart kids at Harvard don't receive any athletic scholarships at all, it should not be a surprise anymore that at the time I'm recording this video, they now have the fastest woman in college in the 800 meter. But what nobody was actually expecting is that their national leader is not Maya Ramsden or even Sophia Gorriaran. Victoria Bossong of Harvard University is now the national leader in the 800. She won the Florida relays to pull it off, making it very clear that she is now a very real threat to win it all at the NCAA meet outdoors. Her performance is just more proof that Harvard track and field is the real deal. But what makes what she just did even more incredible is that she was never supposed to become the fastest 800 runner in the NCAA, or even on her own team. The truth is that Victoria Bossong is an incredible talent, and apparently a national championship contender right now. But the 800 was never technically her real event. She's actually been dominating the Ivy League in the 400 meter dash for a good while now. But now she has a chance to help a non-scholarship program at Harvard University compete for an NCAA title outdoors. Because if she can keep this up, she can help the Crimson to beat the best of the best in the entire NCAA, even though they do give out scholarships in the first place. But if you're new here, I first have to say thank you for even making it this far into the video. And I'm Coach Rob, the founder of SCArecruiting.com. And if anything that I say actually connects with you, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe. But if I don't, just let me know in the comment section, because I try to read them all. I have to admit that Victoria Bossong is probably one of the most confusing track and field athletes to analyze, because on one hand, she was never really supposed to be this fast in the 800. But that is only true because she's always been so good at so many track and field events, so you really can't blame anybody for not noticing that the 800 was her future. To keep it honest with you, high school track and field athletes are almost never as good as she was across the board, though it's really only a matter of time before she would eventually rank among the nation's best in at least one event. So pay attention, because this story is not normal. At the high school level, Victoria Bossong would have rated as a high 3-star recruit on SCArecruiting.com at the end of her sophomore season, a season where she competed out of Portland, Maine, and was the state leader in the 100-meter dash, 200-meter dash, 400-meter dash, and of course the 800-meter run. I repeat, that is not normal. Her junior year was in 2020, so of course that was basically a wash. But as a senior, she dominated the state again in all of those events and became a legitimate 4-star level recruit. And I shouldn't have to say it, but I'ma say it anyway. She was, hands down, the best girls track and field recruit in the state of Maine. Those performances were good enough to of course impress the coaches at Harvard, a team that had already produced Gabby Thomas as an NCAA champion indoors in the 200-meter dash, whom later went on to become an Olympic medalist during the same year that Victoria would eventually join the team. But athletes like Victoria do present a bit of a problem for a college coach, because she's so talented in so many events, it's hard for them to figure out which one to focus on. Remember, in the Ivy League, she can score points in just about any of them and help them win a conference title, which is exactly what she did, because Harvard already had a lot of talent across most of the events, so they really only needed Victoria to focus on the ones that they needed more points in. So as a freshman, she hardly ever ran the 800, and instead won the indoor 500 at the Ivy League meet to help Harvard win the team title. But she actually got second in the 400 outdoors, while also running on both of their sprint relays. She did qualify for the NCAA East Regional meet in the 400, but of course nobody really noticed because she wasn't a threat to make the championship meet. And her sophomore season was mostly a repeat of the exact same movie, where she'd win the indoor 500, but this time win the outdoor 400 at the Ivy League meet. But she also started running the 800 a little bit more. So after Harvard won the team title outdoors, she ran the 800 at the IC4A championship meet and won the entire event. For the record, it's basically track and field's version of the NIT. And this time, she ran the NCAA East Regional meet in the 800. But of course, nobody really noticed yet. So this season, when Victoria Bossong ran new PRs in the 800, nobody really paid attention to it because it wasn't in a championship meet yet. Instead, she went out and won the Ivy League Conference indoors again in the 500. That is a three-peat, which is extremely hard to do in any conference in D1. But all that brings us to what just happened when Victoria Bossong ran the 800 outdoors at the Hurricane Invite and again at the Florida Relays. She ran new PRs in both and now is the fastest woman in college in that same event. I don't know what the future for Victoria Bossong's career will look like, but I can tell you that the secret is out. Victoria was the best girls recruit in her home state of Maine in every single open event from the 100 all the way up to the 800. While she was still a sophomore, she became a 4-star recruit as a result, and now has already helped Harvard to win a whole bunch of conference championships in whatever event they needed her to. But to keep it a buck with you, she was always supposed to be way more than that, because talent like hers disguises itself as versatility. But it's really everything that you need to become one of the nation's best in any single event. Victoria Bossong has now proven that on one of the best teams in all of D1, no matter which way you want to look at it. She's the fastest woman in college right now, and probably could have gotten close to it in just about any of the other events, if she really put her mind to it. But all that really matters is that Harvard University is no longer just a contender for the Ivy League championship anymore. They are now an NCAA championship contender because they have several of the most talented women in the entire NCAA in their uniform. But if Victoria Bossong is not a name that you remembered before, it should be pretty hard for you to forget now, because her name is now the only one sitting at the top of the national leaderboards. SCA track and field gear is here. Fast is a lifestyle, and what you wear should reflect that. Order yours at scarecruiting.com/shop or use the link in the description below. It's a huge support to me and this channel, so I can continue to make you more content like this. And remember, it's always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe.